All right, let's see what we got here. So I need to get um actually get my screen up and shared. Let me do that now. So we're gonna do some observation while drinking our coffee. Got my coffee on deck, man. It's good too. It's good. All right, so let me get the screen activated. So we're live, man, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Streaming live. Whatever platform that you come in on, make sure that you like the video, share the video, and also um, if you're on YouTube, for example, subscribe to the channel. If you're coming in on Facebook, follow the TeamAlliance page. And on Twitter, make sure that you retweet the video just so that there's more distribution of it. So it gets out there to more folks. And that's about it. That is about it. All right. So it's Thursday, June 3rd. We already in the summer already. So right now, just doing some observation of the markets. Of course, the platform that we're looking at, this is called NADEX. NADEX allows us to trade a very specific instrument called binary options. And let me just verify, you guys have audio, yes? Can y'all hear me? Just want to make sure before I continue on, because you know I hate to be doing something and it ain't working properly. I can't stand that. So just verify that you have audio for me, please, if you don't mind. All right, thank you very much. Key says the audio's good. All right, excellent. All right, so if you didn't check out the podcast from yesterday, you got to make sure that you watch that. It was pretty amazing, pretty outstanding. Especially if you are in training already with TA. You definitely want to watch and or listen to the podcast from yesterday. You can always check out the audio version of the podcast at the BrooklynMosesPodcast.com. When you go to that site, it will take you directly to the page where you can listen to the audio directly from the site. And it's also available for your listening pleasure on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and wherever podcasts are available. All right. So definitely check that out if you did not yesterday. I think it was episode 34 of season 2 for the podcast. So right now I'm just doing some observation, as I mentioned a moment ago. And if you're new to the channel, if you're new to TeamAlliance, if you're new to me, right now we're just doing coffee and charts. So literally drinking coffee and observing the market, looking at the charts. NADEX. This is such an awesome place to trade when you have market skill, when you literally have the ability to interpret market behavior and what you see. When you're able to understand what you're looking at as far as movement in the market. NADEX has a very specific instrument called binary options, which allows you to capitalize on your knowledge of the market movement. So, and even more specific, these are 5-minute binary options. So literally they run all day long, and the market is open with the exception of 1 hour between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where the platform closes for maintenance. With the exception of that hour, this platform is up and running 23 hours a day from Sunday night until Friday afternoon. So from Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard to Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, the market is running, the platform is running, and with the exception, as I mentioned, of an hour on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the market is up and running 23 hours a day. The reason that that's powerful is because as you develop this skill set, and the skill set that I'm referring to is the ability to interpret what you're looking at in the market, the actual ability to see movement and understand what it means. For example, right now, one of the tools that I use, this green box that you see on the chart, this box is literally boxing in the area on the chart that you should be most focused on. So like if I zoomed out like this, for example, there's a lot of stuff going on the chart as far as the candles. There's a bunch of candles, red and blue, going all the way back here. But the box is isolating where your focus needs to be. And if you look at it, the focus is always on what's happening right now. So we isolate the market movement that is most relevant to now. All of this stuff that happened back here is what happened already. This is historical. Some people will use this information and they'll try to predict what the future is going to do. We don't do that at all. We don't have to make predictions because that little green box, if I zoom in, this is showing us right now what the market is doing right now. This is letting us know this is what the market is up to right now. And I moved the box according to the position of the lines that you see going across, the horizontal lines going across, which are representative of strike prices. Strike prices are simply price levels in the market that are reflected by the binaries. So the binary options that we trade are represented by the blue horizontal lines going across. And if you look at the box is simply boxing in where the current movement is, right? Relative to the strike prices that are most relevant at the time. So for example, I can even move it over like this, right? If you just concentrate on what you see in the box, everything that you're looking at inside of the box is what's relevant right now in the market. This is why when the market movement is coming outside of the box, we know that there's nothing for us to do at the time. Because if it's moving outside of the box, it means that it's moving outside of the strikes. It's moving outside of the binaries. And binaries are very simple to trade because all you're doing is you are making a determination as to whether or not the market is going to remain above or below one of these lines. So for example, this box, the top of the box represents one line and then the bottom represents the lower line or the lowest strike price. So the top strike price, bottom strike price, that's what the box is, right? If the candles are inside of the box, it means the market is moving between those two strikes. And if the market is moving between those two strikes, it means that you can more easily isolate what the market is doing. Not what the market's going to do, what it is doing. You can see, just like right now, I'm zoomed into the box, right? And as you look at the box, where's the candles? Look at the candle right now. The candle you're looking at right now is where? It's inside the box. So now what does that mean? It means that it is below the top strike and it is above the bottom strike. And the way binaries work is simple. You're anticipating that the market will remain either above or below. So if I, for example, wanted to buy, I would be buying the bottom of the box. Why? Because the market is above that. And I'm anticipating, based on me buying, that the market will stay above that. You see? Vice versa. If I wanted to sell, I would be selling the top of the box. Why? Because look at where the market is. The market's below the top of the box, right? And I would be anticipating that the market is going to do what? Stay below the top of the box or stay below that line. Look at how simple I just created an image for you to understand binaries and to more importantly understand the market as it pertains to binaries. So if you don't even do anything else, just gaining what I just told you immediately gives you an edge over other people that trade on the same platform. Why? Because you know that the only thing relevant on this whole chart, and again, let me zoom out because I want you to see how much information is on the chart. Watch this. Look at all this information on the chart. Look at how much activity has taken place on the chart. This is today. This is just from, what time was this? Not about 10 o'clock. Where I have my mouse at, this is from 10 o'clock until now. So not even 2 hours. An hour and 45 minutes from here to where this is now. You see all of this market activity. Most people are trying to predict where the market's going to go based on what the market has done as far as the activity. The problem with that is that you can't predict. You cannot accurately predict where the market's going to go. We don't know where the market going to go. If right now the market wanted to reverse and go up, it'll do that. If it wanted to continue to go lower, it'll do that too. So instead of us trying to figure out where it's going, we can zoom in and actually look at where it is. We don't got to figure out where it's going. See, when I move my box, I know that the current actual movement in the market is below the top of this box. And right now it's above the bottom of this box. As a matter of fact, right now the price is touching the bottom and it's looking like it wants to go below the bottom. See, which I immediately know and recognize is not anything that I want to be a part of, because I don't want to see the market violating the area that it has created for itself. This is so educational right now. It's crazy. It's such a simple concept to grasp and to understand. And what amazes me about people is that the more simple something is, the more complicated people are going to make it. People will take something simple and complicate it. They would rather try to complicate the simple than to just leave the simple alone and let it be. Exactly what I'm explaining and describing right now is how simple it is to look at the market. Notice I didn't say this is how you trade binaries. I didn't say that. I said this is the simplest way to look at the market because you're looking at the market now. See, instead of zooming out trying to look at, oh, well, look, I see some trends here. Let's draw some lines. Like what people will do, they'll do stuff like this. They'll zoom out, right? And they'll get to drawing. They'll start taking lines and they'll start drawing shit. Let me show you. Where the lines at? Is this it? Yeah. So they'll start drawing lines, right? Like, hey, yeah, let me draw this here. Draw a trend line there, right? They over here lining it up. They moving it. They're like, all right, it goes from here to there. So let me line this up with this. Oh, look at this. It's in a downtrend. You see how the market touched the line here, then it went up? So they're trying to predict. You know, they'll do stuff like, all right, well, there's a trend here. So when the market comes down here, it should bounce off of this trend line. How you know it's going to bounce? What happens if it breaks the trend line? Then what you going to do? What happens if it breaks the trend line first and then goes back up? What happened to your trend line? And when the funny thing is, all they're going to do is move it. They'll move the trend line to wherever the new position is that the market went to. So it's like doing all of that is a total waste of time, in my opinion, especially on this platform, trading binaries, because none of that means anything. The only thing that means anything is if you're correct about where the market ends when the time runs out. These are binaries, 5-minute binaries at that. Look, you see up here where it says expires in 59 seconds? This means that in 59 seconds, wherever the position of the market is, so whether it's a red or a blue candle or whatever, that red or blue candle needs to be either above or below based on if you bought or sold. So like right now, you see where I had the box? Let me move the box up. If I move it up here and I'm looking, if I bought the bottom of this box, meaning that I'm buying based on this line, it means that that blue candle has to end above inside of the box. That's all. Watch. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. Just look in the box. Don't look at nothing else. Where's the candle? It's in the box, ain't it? So if I bought, all the candle has to do is stay in the box. And if it does, when that clock runs out, boom, I'm going to collect the profit. And this is why when you focus in this way, the simplicity of what you're doing simplifies the process, which simplifies the profits. Oh. Man, oh man. You simplify the process, you simplify the profits. Now, of course, there are other things that tie into everything that we, are doing, like your mindset. Your mindset needs to be focused on the right things so that you allow the market to do what the market does. You see everything I just went through in that example. Notice how I'm not trying to predict anything, am I? What am I doing? I'm actually observing the market. And I know that by using my tools, if the market simply remains in the position that it's in already relative to the box, I can anticipate the outcome of a trade that I take. Or let me rephrase, a trade that I receive, because the market's going to give me the trade. I don't got to look for a trade. All I'm doing is observing the market. And as I observe, I'm just watching and waiting. Well, Mark, do you think you're going to get a trade today? I don't know. I have no idea. It depends on what the market does. If the market decides to present a trade Give me a trade when the timing is right. And what I mean by that? Well, when the movement is right. See, when the market moves stable, it produces what's called correct timing. If the market's stable, wherever it goes and whatever it commits to doing and whatever it is respecting as far as its movement, that's what it's going to do. That's how you know the outcome of the trade before you take it. Or let me rephrase. That's how you know the outcome of the trade before you receive it. Simple. Simple as that. Crazy, man. Crazy. All right, let me see who we got in the building with us. Let me take a look. I see Charles over here. I see Ashton. Keys in the building. I think that's Willis. Majors over here. SG is here. Kashif. King Circlet. What's going on? I see Mel. Ray Young, Elizabeth. Nicole Blunt. Shawnee is here. SG is here. Peter Leonardi. Chip in the building. Tavares. Harmony. And BCJ as well. All right. All right, cool. Y'all can feel free, especially if you're new, please feel free to ask any question that you might have. These observations, and I mean, like, it don't even matter what it is that I'm doing. It turns into a training somehow because I'm doing another training now. It's crazy. The podcast yesterday, I didn't even, like, when you're looking at the podcast, there's no charts or anything up. But because of the way that things are broken down and explained, especially if you're in training already, you understand exactly what I'm saying. It's like you see what I'm saying. So you don't even need to look at the charts. But when I have the charts up like this and we're doing observation, I can show you specifically if you're new what it is that I'm referring to. Like, it just simplifies everything that's going on. It's very simple. And simple is better. People's problem is they don't have no patience. That's what it is. People get thirsty, they get antsy. I want to take a trade. Well, why do you want to take a trade? Why? Why do you got to take a trade? Why? Why must you take a trade? You don't have to do that. So, over time, as you learn how to control yourself and just relax, you stop being so hyperactive when it comes to what we do when we trade. Like, the objective is not to trade all day. The objective is very simple for us. We just want to win the trades that we end up in. That's it. The easiest way to do that is to wait for the market to give it to you. Don't try to take nothing. Don't try to take anything. Oh, I see a trade setting up. Well, we don't do trade setups. We will receive the trade that the market gives to us when the market stabilizes. That's it. The tools that we use allow us to see it. It's like having binoculars. When you got binoculars and you look in the distance, it makes everything that's far away look close. So what you thought was, in the distance, as far as you consistently winning, now you can see up close that, yeah, I can consistently win, and I will consistently win if I just focus and don't do nothing else. Let me just use my tools so I can see, right? What looked far now is close. You thought winning consistently was hard to do. Now it's easy. Just wait for it. That's it. Just wait for it, man. Shawnee is saying RCB is an elevation from the quick glance. Of course. Of course it is. RCB is the quick glance. Hold on. RCB is the quick glance. Think about quick glance. What does glance mean? To look. So when you look at the market, it don't take all day to see, right? Because look at the tools that we got. We have the box, and we know what we're looking to see with the box. So as soon as you look and you see, all right, the candles are touching the top of the box. Next. That's quick glance all day. When you next and you say nope, next, what you're saying is that RCB is not there. So look at what Shawnee said. He said it's an elevation of the quick glance. It is the quick glance. It's crazy, man. It is the quick glance. It's the same thing. Dave Bryan, what's happening? Mike is in the building. What's good? Sean Joyson, he said, I don't know why you're giving away such valuable information for free. You know what I find interesting, right? I do these publicly now. And even if you don't join training and you watch these, you'll learn a whole lot, yes. But there's something about when you actually come into TA with us, it's an elevation of what you see here. It's like this X'd out. So it's like this time, it's like multiply everything that you see for free times 100. That's what happens when you come into training, because, you know, for one, you get access to the group chat. Let me tell you something about the group chat, first of all. And Sean, I'm glad that you actually brought that up, because this will give me an opportunity to tell, you know, people that are not aware that it comes with the actual training when you join us. That 24-hour group chat, I mean, you talk about somebody making sure that you succeed. That's what it is. That's what the group chat is. The group, just being in training and having access to that, if you stay connected and you stay close in the chat, you are held accountable, for one. Two, we make sure that you ain't gonna do dumb shit. Hold on. As much as I'm giving away for free as far as information, what's funny is that people are still not gonna do it. And I've come to realize, like, I understand why you don't do it. It's like, all right, here you go. This is what you do. This is how it works. You still won't do it. Why not? Because your mindset it's not there. Your mindset is not where it needs to be. So because you lack the mindset, you can't do it. What you gonna do? You're gonna do a whole bunch of other dumb shit, right? That's gonna cause you to end up losing. So you're still in the same position that you were even before you saw the information that I gave you for free. You're in the same position because you still don't have the mindset. This is why you have to do what? You have to train. It's like, you know what it's like? I'll tell you what it's like. It's the difference between joining the military and looking at a video of joining the military. Like, just imagine you see a video and they take you through everything. Yeah, this is what it's like, basic training. And this is where the barracks are. You know, this is the mess hall. This is what the mess hall looks like. It's like a tour instead of just joining the military. When you join the military, you don't have to go on the tour to see what it's like now. You're in it now. You see, like, you understand what I'm saying? That's the difference. It's like the difference between a virtual tour and the real thing. That's the equivalent. So it's, you know, like I said, I'm glad that you brought that up, because it's so funny that people really think that I'm giving it away for free, which I am. But the thing about it is that when you train, it's different. When you come into training and you come into TA, it's different. Even though it's the same information, it's different when you're held accountable. Hold on. Different when you got eyes on you, right? You got to record when you come into training with us. I tell you to record. Oh, I don't know how to record. I tell you what to use. Screencast. You use that, you start recording. Well, Mark, should I record when I trade? No, record when you observe. What am I doing right now? I'm recording my observation of the market right now. I can go back and play this back and I can look and see what the market was doing. Even though right now I'm talking and I'm not paying that much attention to the market right now because I'm talking. But when I go back, I can look and see what the market was doing while I was running my mouth. See? So now, because I recorded, I'm learning from the recording. Even though in real time, I may have overlooked or missed something. This is why I tell you to record your observation. Another thing, you record your observation because you could be looking at something that you think is what we are doing. And because you recorded it and you sent it to us in the group and you asked about it, you get corrected. Nah, that's not what we do. Oh, I thought that when you're supposed to wait until you had this and you had that, and then you have MRMH. No, that's not it. Oh, I saw the +1, so I thought it was MRMH. Nah. Well, why wasn't it MRMH? Because the market wasn't stable. Oh, that's right. See, because you observe and record, when you share what you're looking at and you ask a question, you immediately get auto-corrected. You're being held accountable for the information. So it's not about just getting the information. It's about being held accountable for it as well. That's what training does. Like, there's a reason why we train, because you're being conditioned to do it. See, there's a difference between somebody just watching the video like this that I'm doing now, and they're trying to figure out what I'm looking at in the market. They draw their little box. Like people will duplicate what they see me doing. They'll draw their little box, and they're looking to see, all the candles are in the box. Okay, yeah. Oh, is this a trade here setting up? And they'll go through all of that. But the one thing that they don't have is they don't have the reinforcement and the conditioning to apply the process over and over again, no matter what. So what they'll do is they'll do stuff that's not the process, thinking that it is the process, and they'll mess up. And they don't have anybody to ask about it. So if you take a trade based on what you think I'm doing, based on a video you saw me do, right? And you lose, you know that ain't what I do, because I'm not going to lose. So because you lost, now who do you ask about it? Like, damn, I lost that one. If you're not in training with us, who do you ask? You see the difference? So this is why I don't ever concern myself with that. I gladly talk about all of this stuff now in the open. I don't even care no more, because there's still a different level of what we do that training gives you versus not training. See, if you don't come into training, you won't get it. You'll think that you get it because you have the surface of it. Oh, well, I drew the box like you draw, and I waited for the market to slow down like you said, and it looked like it was stable, but then this happened. Oh. And you don't know what to do because that happened, right? See, this is what training does. But thank you for even bringing that up, though, because that gave me an opportunity to explain why I do it like this now. Yep. Good stuff, man. Circlet. If you say demo price is always priced out at 30 seconds, but on live it will sometimes. Yeah, demo is not like live at all, with the exception of the actual indicative price being the exact same. The market itself is the same on demo and on live. The market, the indicative price, exact same thing. There is a difference between option pricing and many times a difference between the strikes that will populate on live versus demo. So I encourage everyone to open up a live account if you don't have one, and don't fund it. Don't put no money in it. Open up the account and use your live account information and only use the demo to paper trade, meaning that, all right, if you want to, go through the motion of clicking into a trade, right, then you can click in, but you're going to click in on the demo account versus the live. You see what I'm saying? So it allows you to set up paper trading and get practice in, but you're using the live account information, and then you would actually execute the trade on the demo. That's the only purpose of demo that I suggest people use it for, aside from initially when you are learning the platform, you learn how to navigate the platform and, learning what it's like and all of that type of stuff. But other than that, we don't use demo. The only reason that we'll use demo is to paper trade. And I encourage that you do that. But don't rely on the demo account information. Use the live account information. Yep. Yeah, these are good points that y'all are bringing up. Very good. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Shani says 21 trades is not a lot. 30 trades is not a lot of trades. I remember saying that. I mean, because it's not. It's not. And remember, see, the whole thing about what we're doing is we're really just doing 1-0. That's all it is. You're doing 1-0 21 times. You're doing 1-0 30 times. You do it 30 times, that's freedom right there. Project 21 was the first one, the first spreadsheet that I came up with. And at that time, I forgot why I even used Project 21. Like it was something about the 21 and where it put you. I think because each trade was about $1,000 or something like that. I think that's what it was. So in my head, I must have just had $1,000 a trade, and that's why it was Project 21. But then when I kept pushing, I'm like, wait, well, why are we stopping at 21? Well, let's keep going. So then when I went and did 30 trades, I was like, okay, look at where 30 trades put you. That put you at $5K a trade. That sounds more like freedom to me. So then that's how that became Project Freedom. Even before it was Project Freedom, I think initially it was 30 trades in 30 days. That's what I was calling it. But it's all the same stuff, man. It's 1-0 X amount of times. That's all it is. Because literally you're focusing on 1-0. That's it. And the 1-0 is always coming from what the market gave you. It's not that you are putting pressure on yourself to get a trade. So it's like, I gotta get my 1-0. Nah, the market's gonna give it to you when it's ready to. And all you need is to observe so that you see it when it's ready to give it up. And you know what it looks like when it gives it up. So just wait. That's all. That's all it is. Just wait. Relax. Observe. Turn on your recording. Engage with the group. Send, recordings into the group. Ask questions. Grow. Learn. Elevate. Increase your understanding of what we're doing. That's what we're doing in the meantime. We're not focusing on trades all the time. Who wants to focus on trades when you got to try to figure out which trades? That's what you be doing. I don't know if I should have took that one. I entered too early. Oh, I entered too late. Oh, I should have waited. You want to spend your time doing that for the rest of your career in trading? Or do you want to just focus on a process that works regardless? It works no matter what. You'll know the outcome before you enter into a trade. You'll know that the market gave you a trade, and when you receive that trade, it's going to be a win. That's it. Which one would you rather do? That's all it is. Sylvester, some of the terms like RCB I'm not familiar with because I focus on 301, but is that just an elevated way of identifying behavior? Yes, it is. He said, look what he said. You answered my question while typing that question. There it is. Laurel, what's happening? Laurel said, stay a part of the fire. Group chat all day. If you still have pricing, is placing that trade after 30 seconds okay? Yeah, but typically you'll be clicking in before that. Just typically. The clock we focus probably the least on now. We don't focus on the clock like that. We know once we're under the minute mark that we're zooming in with the microscope. So we're watching and we're waiting for everything to be in alignment before we click in. Once it's in alignment, we click in. I don't even be knowing when I click in. I don't be knowing how much time is left. I know it's under a minute, but by the time I click in, like that's it. I'm committed. So it's everything before we click in that we recognize that's most important. You know, not necessarily the time and how much time is left. I don't even be knowing. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't even be knowing how much time is left. I'm too focused on process to know. So as you become better at the process, your timing improves also. It's like, oh, look at that. As soon as he clicked in, he got filled. It just is what it is. It is what it is. So instead of relying on pricing to tell you a lot of information, pricing is the last thing. If you even in the protocol that you learn in 301, what's the last parameter? The last parameter is pricing, ain't it? See, there's a reason for that. Same way in SPP, which is stability, position, and pricing. What's the last thing? Pricing. What's the first thing? Stability. See? So stability has to happen first. Then the market has to be positioned relative to one of the strike prices, AKA in the box, right? And then pricing is last. Pricing is something that you may or may not see at the time. Sometimes you don't see pricing. It's not displayed, but it doesn't mean that orders are not there to fill your actual trade. See? That's why we don't just rely on that at all. It's the last thing that we are concerned with. We're focused on the process that leads up to that. And pricing sometimes will be shown, sometimes it won't. Many times you'll get filled and there's no pricing showing. Sometimes pricing will show and you don't get filled. So that goes to show you that the fill is not contingent upon if there's pricing or not. The fill is coming from the fact that orders are always being made on the platform. So if there's anyone that wants to trade that risk reward stuff that people love so much, it means that they'll be trading against us and they're going to fill our orders and we're going to take their money from them. So that's how that works. Peter Leonardi, the TA Army. You already know. Yes, sir. Nico, what's happening? SG, the process without the process will have the market processing your ass. That's true. Tracy, what's happening? Eric Stevenson, what's going on? Mr. James, you can always catch the replay. It's all good. John W., why do you say you know it is under a minute when you enter the trade when you don't know when you entered as focusing on process, because being under a minute is part of the process. Nah, no, we're never gonna enter between 1:30 and 2 because that's not our process. That's not part of the process. That's during the observation period, of course. When my timer goes off and I'm alerted to come and look at the chart, I get the alert, I come look at the chart. The process is already processing. I know that once I'm under a minute, that's when the continuation of the process is taking place. So I'm never going to enter prematurely to that. I know that it will be at some point under a minute. It could be very close to that minute mark, or it might be further, down the clock. Either way, don't matter. My point is that the completion of the process is what we focus on, period. So if you have a reason not to do anything, that's you also applying the process. Applying the process doesn't mean you're going to enter the trade. Applying the process means that you're going to complete the process until you have confirmation to enter or to not. So sometimes you apply the process and it's next, meaning, all right, ain't nothing to do there. Next. And that's it. Like, that's the end of it. There's nothing else to do because it was disqualified. That's our process. So our process doesn't mean entering trades. Entering into a trade that the market lines up and gives to us, that would be part of our process because we'll recognize that by applying the process. The same way that we'll recognize when there is no trade because it was disqualified either by the market or by the validity of that trade not being confirmed. Either way. Anything less than a minute, the pricing is gone. Not necessarily. No, sir. And as I mentioned earlier, even if you don't see pricing, it doesn't mean that it's not there. Yep. Even if you don't see pricing, it doesn't mean that it's not there. Jamal, what's happening, sir? And here it is. He just said it, what I just said. You have to wait for the process to complete the process. That's right. Stick to the process because it's a winning process. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When y'all come on, make sure that y'all like the video, please. Also share the video. If you're on Twitter, retweet. If you're on Facebook, be sure to follow the TeamAlliance Facebook page. Also join the TeamAlliance public Facebook group. And of course, if you're on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, turn on your bell notifications, all that good stuff. Right? Do it. Let me go warm up my coffee. I'll return in a minute. Y'all sit tight. All right. Back at it. That's some good coffee, man. I had to actually add to it. Had to add to it. Let's see. Oh, okay. Cozy Lux. Cozy Lux. I know who that is. That's Kashana, right? Okay. I should remember that. Kinks Circlet is Cozy Lux. All right, cool. You're stupid. Jamal is a nut. That's the commercial break. Stupid, man. You're crazy. So look at what Peter said. Look at what he said. I win a lot of trades without pricing on a ticket. See, so what I was saying earlier about not necessarily having to have pricing is a fact. Many times you won't see pricing on the option, like at all. Now, of course, if the market is out of position and stable, you won't have any pricing. Um, Everyone in training knows what I mean. When you see the market between the strikes, out of position, and it's stable, you ain't gonna have no pricing, and you shouldn't be. Yep, you shouldn't. So pricing is an interesting mechanism that we use because if you do have, for example, if the market's out of position and there is pricing, you know that something's gonna happen with the movement. You know that. So, but these are just nuances that we are very familiar with, and this is what I'm talking about as far as training goes. Because when you're in training, you learn stuff like this, like the nuances and the details of everything that we're doing, which is powerful stuff. Like it's really like, oh wow, I would have never known that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you had you not been in training, you would have never knew. Yes, pretty much. Peter said the middle of the strikes is the dead zone. Exactly. John, what makes clustering and barriers different to other times when the market does this a lot? John, I'm not sure what you're asking. Try to elaborate a little bit because I'm not sure what you're actually asking. I don't know what you mean by that. You said what makes it different to other times when the market does this a lot. So, like, when you say the market does this a lot, the market does what a lot? That's number one. I don't know what you're talking about there. And I'm not sure what the question is because I don't understand the context yet. Top of the strike is risky or the bottom of the strike is risky. You're telling me that or you're asking me? When you say the top or the bottom of the strike is risky, is that what you're saying or is that a question? Some people sip coffee and tea like loud. You ever see somebody drinking their coffee and they be like, why you got to be that loud when you sip? When you sip, you don't have to make no noise. Just sip it. But like, I think people, I don't know, it does something to their palate and it tastes better. It's like a mental thing. But there's people that do that. They just coffee sippers, loud coffee slippers. Market creates barriers and clusters, but know when it is safe to take the trades. Okay, the market creates barriers and clusters, but how do you know when it's safe to take the trades? That's the question. Yeah, Peter, me too. That is so annoying, especially like in public. You know, like when you go out and somebody like sipping it like that. You be like, yo, why? Why you got to sip it like that? I was responding to Peter Leonardi saying the middle is the dead zone. Okay. All right, John. So I think I understand now what you're saying. Okay. So just to elaborate on that, when the market is at the top or the bottom and there are barriers and clusters present, remember that a barrier doesn't necessarily mean the actual line itself. And you learn this, of course, through the training videos. I think I covered this. I might have covered this in 735. But the barrier is actually it includes a buffer also where the candle is not touching the line or the series of candles are not touching the line. They're close or they're in the vicinity of it, but they don't touch. So if you see that the candles are near the line, the barrier that's created is the point that would be closest to the line, but it's not touching it. And it includes that gap in between. It includes that buffer between the strike and the top or the strike and the bottom of the candles. That's one part of barriers that you have to become more familiar with, because sometimes the candles will hug the strike, like they'll be on the strike, and if the candles are touching the strike, that's a no-no. So it's kind of easy to know when it's safe because you're never going to be in a trade that's not safe if you completely follow the process and work the process all the way through. And that is, that's good. That is good, good, good. You will never be in a trade that's not safe. So you don't have to say, I'm not sure if it's safe to take the trade now. If you completely follow the process, you'll know that everything is safe because it's the market giving it to you. So you don't have to worry about anything. You've eliminated all of what could potentially not be safe and what could be risky by applying the process all the way through. So the way that you know is by applying the process. That's the answer. So then the next question is, how well do you know the process? And this is where, of course, everything comes into play as far as your training. When you record your observations and ask questions, that's how you elevate in training. And that's why I keep encouraging you guys to do that, because a lot of times y'all will say, you'll have questions like this. And the answer is, well, I need to know what you're looking at. Like, what are you looking at? Record something and show me, and then ask me the question. Because as soon as I see what you're looking at, I'm going to be able to help you specifically, because I can see what you're seeing and what you're thinking. And what you may be thinking could not be what you should be thinking. Does that make sense? But I can't know that if you don't record and ask the question. Like if you just ask the question, I'm giving you the answer. The answer is the process. But it's different when you have a specific observation that you show me. Like, look, Mark, this is what I mean. You see how the market is doing this? Look at the market. Look at where the candles are. Now, when I see that and then you ask the question, it's different than you just asking me the question, because I have an actual recording to use as the reference for your question. That's why recording is so important. It is so important. Oh, that's what it is, Carmen? Carmen said when it's hot, it cools it on the way. It's rude, but that's why some people do it. Oh, because it be super hot. You know what I do when it's super hot? I just blow in it. And I do that until I can sip it and not burn the shit out of my lip. I think some people just like doing that shit. They be like, yeah, the straws too. Right. Yes. Yeah, they still pulling out the straw and ain't no soda left in the damn cup. Just pulling. Like, listen, there's nothing left. It's just ice in there. Damn. Like, damn. Yeah, but it's crazy. Yep, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. All right, what time is it? 12:40? All right. Yeah, I got to get up out of here. But yeah, so John, hopefully that was helpful. That explanation. And like I said, for everyone, make sure that you guys record. That is super important. Don't just think about recording when you're trading. I want you guys to record when you're observing. Record and ask questions. Matter of fact, when you have a question, record. Let the recording be the reference point for the question. So when you have a question, I want you to wait until you see it in the market and then record that. And then ask the question. Post that recording in the group and ask the question. And that's how you will get maximum elevation. Like for real. Because I'll be able to see, or we will be able to see exactly what you're talking about without wondering what you're talking about. Yes, indeed. All right, y'all, I'm out. I got to go pick up my son. And that's about it for now. So this was good, man. Great observation. I just popped on here while I had time to. So this was good. We had the podcast yesterday. What's today? Thursday. Might do a podcast or something tomorrow. I'll see. Maybe a live market observation. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I'll be around. All right. So I'll see you guys in the group chat. Everyone else, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the TeamAlliance page on Facebook, on Instagram. If you're on Twitter, retweet, share, like, all that stuff. All right. All right, y'all. You know what it is. Mark for the TeamAlliance. Coffee and charts, man. Yes, sir. Top notch. Appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'm out. Dom de Marco. Dom de Marco.